Now at 9, Pittsburgh families face transportation uncertainty. The district outlines its strategy to move forward with a bus driver shortage. Plus, a Joplin police officer is fired for misusing surveillance equipment.
Tensions between the Trump administration and Federal Reserve reach a new level, with its chairman now facing a criminal investigation. I'm Rebecca Castor with the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Pittsburgh School District faces a critical bus driver shortage that could force major changes to student transportation. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. Right now, the district is short 6 drivers and could potentially lose another 3 by the end of the school year. To fill the gaps, currently the school's mechanics, office staff, and administrators are filling in behind the wheel. At tonight's school board meeting, school officials discussed a plan of action to address the shortage. The main focus, how to retain and attract new drivers. Some options discussed include signing and referral bonuses, also offering bus drivers full health benefits after 5 years of service. Last week, the district sent a letter to parents warning them of several potential changes, including earlier pickup times, later drop-offs, and limiting bus service to students who live more than 2.5 miles from school. If new hires do not arrive soon, those changes could start this spring. The board decided to table the discussion until the next meeting. Questions rise over police surveillance in Joplin after an officer is fired for misusing crime-fighting cameras. Privacy advocates say their investigation revealed Joplin's flock system was not being used as promised. KOAM's Kenny Foreman explains why the cameras are generating so much controversy.
In 2024, the Joplin Police Department installed flock cameras to aid them in vehicle-related investigations. After becoming aware of this just last September and researching more on flock, Michael Williams, an organizer with the group D-Flock Joplin, wasn't quite convinced the cameras were protecting privacy.
From what I know, the police can access the raw data on the cameras. That's my understanding, at least. And that would include more than just the license plate data. Like as far as I understand, they can view raw footage right off the camera at any time.
When the group gained access to monthly audit data through public requests, they found some plates appeared far more than others.
The second plate wasn't searched all the time, but it was always searched with the first plate. So we feel like there was some sort of connection between the two. We don't know if it was one person with 2 cars or 2 different people, but that's another concerning detail that has not been addressed by the city.
Joplin Police Chief Richard Pearson says one of the audit requests led to the discovery of misuse of the system, and the officer in question is no longer employed by JPD. Though he couldn't specify what the officer did, it prompted the department to reconfigure usage guidelines.
We tightened that policy up to specify how they are supposed to go about using the flock cameras. And then we also put into place an audit system so that every month going forward, we audit our officers' use of the flock camera system.
Pearson maintains the officers will continue to follow those guidelines and that he can't speak on behalf of the capabilities flock itself has.
We program into the flock system certain vehicle identifiers and license plates. That's how we use the system. Any other capabilities of flock, I haven't been made aware of those. The capabilities that flock has that I've been made aware of, and I think the only capabilities that they have.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Chief Pearson says he's encouraging any concerned citizens to stop by the police station where he can address concerns about privacy and explain how the flock camera system is used. A bomb threat that caused a lockdown at Missouri Southern State University today was apparently a hoax. Around 10:45 this morning, MSSU sent an alert about a, quote, credible bomb threat at the Spiva Library. Students and employees evacuated the library while others sheltered in place. Law enforcement searched with explosive detection canines and gave the all clear within about an hour. Staff at Missouri Southern say they followed emergency guidelines throughout the incident.
Absolutely. So we have an emergency management system in place, and we followed those guidelines and communicated often to the campus and students and employees, and made sure that everyone stayed sheltered in place until we had the all clear.
The university says the threat appears similar to messages received by other colleges today. Now, making a bomb threat, even a hoax, can be a federal crime. Meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. It wasn't a bad way to start the week. 60 degrees, that put us 16 degrees above average, about 10 degrees shy of the record, 70 degrees set back in 2000. Headed into the overnight hours tonight, temperatures going to be making their way down slowly, but we'll see anywhere from the mid to upper 30s across much of the region. Maybe if you're south of 44, you could sneak into staying in the 40s overnight. But over the next 5 days, rain chances do begin increasing, but we're talking anywhere from a drizzle to a light shower across the region. Most of that moving in from Tuesday night into Wednesday, but also going to bring some gusty winds on Wednesday as well. So coming up, we're going to talk about those temperatures that are climbing once again, the midweek showers that I'm timing out, and the return of winter temperatures. All that's coming up.
All right, thanks, Austin. Authorities respond to a pair of crashes this morning on Missouri 96. Now, the first happened when a car lost control and spun into a rock wall, slamming rear end first and then front end. While the extent of the driver's injuries are still unknown, they were taken to an area hospital. Authorities say the tread on the front tires were worn almost off, which might have contributed to this crash. Now, impaired driving is dangerous. It's also avoidable. As Chris Bryant reports, the Missouri State Highway Patrol is stressing reasons not to get behind the wheel when impaired.
We hear it all the time. If I could just go back, I wouldn't have had that beer. I wouldn't have had that drink. I wouldn't have got in my vehicle. Well, unfortunately, we can't go back. We don't have a time machine, so don't do it.
In 2024, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reported more than 4,800 alcohol and drug-related crashes.
Doesn't matter if it's a county road. Oh, I'm just going to take the back roads home. It's still a road. There's still people on there. And you may not hurt somebody else, but you may unfortunately run off the road and hurt yourself, and then your family pays for that.
Across the state, the Highway Patrol made nearly 7,800 arrests for alcohol and drug-related driving violations.
$20-$30. I don't know what an Uber costs, but depending on where you're going, it's still cheaper than the alternative. It's definitely cheaper than taking a life.
Troopers conducted 48 DWI saturation patrols in 2024, resulting in 883 traffic citations and 124 arrests for impairment. When it comes to being impaired, the Highway Patrol says it can be different for each person, but that doesn't mean you should get behind the wheel.
Impaired for one person is not impaired for the other. You may think, oh, I can have one beer, and no, not necessarily. You leave the restaurant, leave wherever you are, and you hit another vehicle and you kill somebody. It could be a mom, dad, even a child. How do you live with that?
If you are on the road and see someone driving impaired, you can dial *55 to be connected to the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
Well, coming up, hundreds killed in Iran protests. Trump considers a strong response.
Anti-government protests turning violent in Iran as the White House weighs how to respond. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
But up first, the CDC pulls back on 6 childhood vaccines, and some doctors say kids are now at risk. What this means for your family. Doctors are responding to the new childhood vaccine guidelines issued by the CDC last week, where they pulled back recommendations on some vaccines. Some say the new guidelines are causing confusion and worry. And some pediatricians say it's a step in the wrong direction. Fox's Juliet Vera reports.
Many medical experts are calling it an unprecedented move. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention pulling back on a number of recommended vaccines for children, sidelining 6 of the routine immunizations that have been used to protect children from diseases for decades.
I don't think we should pull back. We've been there, done that.
Dr. John Bradley is a pediatric infectious diseases specialist with Rady Children's Hospital with 37 years of experience. This, he says, is a decision that will put children at risk.
We're going backwards. Diseases that can be prevented with vaccines that we have, if we stop giving them, those diseases will come back.
The new CDC guidelines no longer universally recommends vaccines for rotavirus, COVID-19, influenza, hepatitis A and B, and meningococcal disease, although some will remain recommended only for high-risk groups.
Meningococcus causes meningitis and a bacterial bloodstream infection that is so profoundly serious, 50% of the kids die.
As for rotavirus, Dr. Bradley says it's an illness that can lead to complications, even death in other countries, and it too is preventable with a vaccine.
The hospital is filled with kids with rotavirus diarrhea every winter. These kids pick it up, it's highly contagious, and then they just start vomiting and have diarrhea, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The CDC citing that its new guidelines allow for more flexibility and choice and less coercion. In essence, giving parents and pediatricians more control of health decisions. A dangerous move, if you ask Dr. Bradley. He says given the new circumstances, the hospital has plans to ramp up in order to care for as many children as possible if needed.
There will be people who will listen to what's coming out of the CDC and go, oh, well, I don't need a vaccine. My kid doesn't need a shot. Well, I'm not going to have that. And they don't know until they get sick that it's preventable.
There are 11 vaccines recommended by the CDC that will continue to be covered by insurance. They include vaccines for measles, chickenpox, and polio. From Rady Children's Hospital, I'm Juliette Vara. I'll send it back to you.
Well, teachers and staff from Southwest Missouri schools gather for a behavioral threat assessment training at Carl Junction schools today. The training teaches educators to identify behavioral patterns and speech that could signal potential violence. Instructors emphasize the importance of monitoring these behaviors, particularly on social media platforms.
And then the biggest part probably is the management itself. How do we work through that and not just drop it too soon, but have a good balanced approach where we're not being overly invasive, but we're also not lacking certain details and using our other resources too.
Moore says recent trends are showing that online groups are trying to recruit young people to commit acts of violence. Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, free auto repair classes find a new home in Joplin. We take you inside the new empowerment facility where drivers learn to extend their car's life and cut repair costs.
Party of the year.
To get the right mattress.
Well, if you're a big fan of the warmer weather and you enjoyed today, Tuesday is going to be another day that you can put on that list that you're going to enjoy. We have our high pressure that we saw just earlier today and over the weekend that was situated over our region has since moved off to the south. Now, as that high pressure moves out of the area, you can kind of consider that lid twisting off from the atmosphere. So when it's not going to be held on down as tight. What that's allowing to happen here is that we have an upper level disturbance. It's weak, but that helps develop a surface boundary here. This surface boundary provides just enough lift and just enough support to get us some potential showers heading into our Tuesday night and Wednesday. And then behind that, we're going to see a cold front begin to develop. Now, because that air is colder and denser, so it means it's heavier and slower, that doesn't move in until after this boundary pushes through. So let's talk about tonight. We're going to see temperatures tonight, upper 30s, maybe mid 30s if you're a little bit further north and west of 49 tonight. If you are south of 44, you may be just lucky enough to stay in the 40s tonight, but between 35 and 40 degrees overnight across the region. Tomorrow, 66 degrees. Boy, is it going to be another nice day out there. The record is 70, so we're getting close. About 4 degrees shy is what we're predicting for tomorrow. Now, we do have some cloud cover that begins to move in Tuesday afternoon, but check out these temperatures, mid to upper 60s here. Cloud cover comes in and starts containing that heat, puts a blanket over us, so that helps keep us warm throughout the evening. Here's that boundary beginning to move in here. We notice our wind shift there. Just the potential of a few light showers between a drizzle and a light shower. We're talking about a few hundredths of an inch. Even as we head into the overnight hours, maybe one of us would be lucky enough to pick up a 1/10 of an inch of rainfall here. But here's that cold front off to our north now. That's going to push through after this boundary. Notice temperatures still in the 40s by 10 o'clock. We're not going to go anywhere. Those temperatures are going to be kept at bay by that cold front. We're going to stay near the mid-40s heading into Wednesday afternoon. Now, winds are significantly going to pick up as we head into Wednesday afternoon as well. That's probably going to be the biggest impact. Wind gusts anywhere from 35 to 40 miles per hour. But here's a look at how much rainfall, just a few hundredths of an inch out there across the entire region. Here's a look at our wind gusts. So heading into Tuesday, things are relatively calm for us. And then as we head into Wednesday, here comes that cold front, wind gusts 25, 35, maybe even 40 miles per hour into the afternoon as well. Into Thursday, much calmer. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Notice Thursday, 42, 47 Friday, partly cloudy. Another weak system moves in Saturday, but look at these temperatures, 10 degrees overnight, 29 on Sunday. Yeah, winter temperatures returning as we head into the weekend, Tanya, and then we're climbing back up next week.
I'm looking forward to that climb up already. Not looking forward to 10 degrees at night. And you know, that's like before the wind chill too, so.
Hopefully you got your weekend festivities in this past weekend.
I know, but there's always something you want to do, right?
I'll be sitting inside.
All right, thanks, Austin. Well, coming up next, President Trump proposes 10% cap on credit card interest rates.
President Trump is asking credit card companies to cap interest rates at 10%. Analysts warn of trade-offs. I'm Kelly Saberi in Chicago. What's at stake, including your credit card rewards, still ahead.
Comics Club.
Well, shares of credit card companies are sharply lower after President Trump proposed putting a temporary lid on credit card rates at 10%. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Saberi has the details.
The move is President Trump's next step in tackling affordability, saying credit card companies are taking advantage of people.
I have no idea that they're paying 30%. No way. We're putting a one-year cap at 10%, and that's it. They know it. They've really abused the public. The credit card companies have totally abused. I'm not going to let it happen.
This proposed 10% cap will save Americans about $100 billion a year in interest costs, according to a Vanderbilt University study. Banks, however, counter that rates need to be high, with no house or car, for example, to repossess. The move could put major issuers like JPMorgan Chase, Capital One, and Citigroup under pressure. Analysts anticipate banks may simply drop riskier borrowers altogether, meaning millions could lose access to credit. Other possible effects: higher card fees, less card perks like your point systems and your travel benefits, and your card usage may affect your credit score even more. Analysts also believe that larger credit card companies like Capital One and American Express will still be able to turn a profit with these caps, but providers of store cards could struggle. The president is calling for rates to drop by January 20th, not too far away. It is not clear whether the president plans to take this to Congress or use an executive action. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Well, coming up next, the Pittsburgh Farmers Market seeks new vendors as attendance grows.
Committed to community service.
Fresh vegetables, homemade crafts, and local flavors are coming back to Pittsburgh as the city opens vendor applications for the 2026 Farmers Market. The season kicks off in April, where vendors can showcase their fresh produce, handmade goods, and food items at the Market Pavilion on East 11th Street off of Broadway. Farmers Market Manager Keller Irwin says growing attendance has them excited to expand their family-friendly offerings.
I think we want to continue specifically to put on more events, often catered towards children, and then like having to do with the earth and things like that. And we saw great outcomes for that and very heartwarming experiences. So I think we'd like to continue to improve in that aspect.
Applications can be found on the Pittsburgh Farmers Market Facebook page and on the city's website. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Federal Reserve Chair claims the latest DOJ investigation is targeting the Fed's independence from President Trump. And Iran protests turn deadly as the president weighs military options.
Big Bang Theory tonight.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The chair of the Federal Reserve is now under investigation for potentially misleading Congress over the central bank's headquarters multi-billion-dollar renovation project. But Jerome Powell says it's retribution for not lowering interest rates at the demand of President Trump. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the details from Washington.
We're just taking a look at what's happening, and it's a tough construction job.
After President Trump toured the Federal Reserve headquarters construction site this summer, its chairman has now been subpoenaed by the Department of Justice over the renovation project's budget overruns. Costs have soared from around $1.9 billion to $2.5 billion. But Jerome Powell isn't buying that's the real reason behind this investigation.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
The central bank cut rates 3 times in 2025, but President Trump thinks the board waited too long and is pressing for further cuts this year, though he's denied knowing anything about this DOJ investigation. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say it's crucial the Fed stays independent.
We want our Federal Reserve to be making rate decisions based on the information and the facts in front of them, not just as a result of direct political pressure. But I don't think that means that a Federal Reserve chairman should not be subject to criticism or critiques.
Other Republican lawmakers have taken it a step further. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis says he plans to block any of President Trump's new Fed chair nominees until this legal matter is resolved. Jerome Powell's term as Fed chairman ends in May, and the president plans to announce his replacement by the end of this month. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, protests persist in Minneapolis days after a woman was fatally shot by an ICE agent. State investigators are canvassing the area, gathering evidence as the FBI leads the investigation. The Department of Homeland Security defends the officer's actions, citing self-defense while deploying more federal agents for protection. Meanwhile, protesters demand accountability outside a federal building as criticism grows over the administration's handling of the case. Well, the White House is weighing its options as unrest in Iran reaches a boiling point. Human rights groups say hundreds of anti-regime protesters have already been killed. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the latest.
Chaos in cities across Iran. What began as protests over its weakened economy has brought a harsh and deadly crackdown by the regime. Human rights groups estimate hundreds of people have been killed and thousands more have been imprisoned. The government has shut down phone lines and internet. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared to act.
The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
The president and his team have reportedly been weighing options ranging from cyber attacks to direct military strikes. Iran has threatened retaliation. But despite the war of words, both sides appear willing to talk.
Iran called to negotiate.
The greatest leverage the regime had just several months ago was their nuclear program, which President Trump and the United States military totally obliterated through Operation Midnight Hammer.
Democrats have denounced the Iranian regime's actions, but want the president to come to Congress before any potential military action.
They are fighting for their own freedom and for a new type of country. So we should be very thoughtful about how or why or when we get involved. And President Trump should not be using our troops or having boots on the ground without the prior authorization of Congress.
President Trump is reportedly meeting with his national security team Tuesday to go over options. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at the forecast and later a higher power learning opportunity.
Free automotive classes to help you learn the basic maintenance of your car. I'm Nelly Lopez with more details on that coming up.
As we head into our Tuesday, if you were a fan of the temperatures today, it's going to be even warmer tomorrow. So taking a look at our Skywatch storm tracker, that high pressure that we had over the weekend pushed off to the south. We still saw clear skies today, but this is going to allow for some cloud cover to begin to move in. Here what you're seeing is the surface boundary. So we have an upper level disturbance. That upper level disturbance helps cause this surface level boundary here, which gives enough support and lift for some cloud cover, potential for some precipitation. Behind that, a cold front will develop and begin to push in as we head into our Wednesday. Let's talk about all that. So for tonight, 40 degrees, clear skies. It's going to be a little bit breezy out there. We could see an isolated gust around 20 miles per hour tonight. But tomorrow, temperatures back on the rise again, 66 degrees, much warmer. some evening cloud cover begins to roll in. Let's take a look at this. So going through our future track here, we notice winds out of the southwest, temperatures here in mid to upper 60s. Some cloud cover off to the north begins to push in here. Haven't seen our wind shift just yet, but here it is. Here's the boundary. This is not the cold front. This is going to be the boundary that begins to push in, bringing some light showers to the area. 9, 10, 11 o'clock into the overnight hours. Could see a few bands of rain as it moves through. A drizzle to a light shower. Then as that boundary passes, we're going to see our cold front begin to push in. This is where that cloud cover begins to clear out of the area. Winds now directly out of the north here. That is going to bring temperatures into our 40s, keep them at bay throughout our Wednesday. So temperatures overnight, our overnight low around 42, 43 degrees, only warming up to the mid, maybe upper 40s if you're lucky. Wednesday night overnight, we're back down into the 20s, so a much cooler evening there. As far as how much rain across the entire region, just a few hundredths of an inch. So we're talking about the very lightest watering we can think of with this system here. Now, going through, looking at that, we really could use the rain, especially in our southern regions where we have some severe drought conditions underway there. Heading into our Monday and Tuesday, or Monday evening into our Tuesday, winds, isolated gusts around 20 miles per hour. Heading into Wednesday, though, here comes that cold front. That's going to bring winds anywhere from 35, maybe even 40 miles per hour at times, but much calmer on our Thursday. What we're watching next, the potential another weak system comes through for maybe a few flurries here. That's what we're keeping our eye on as we head into the weekend, but much colder temperatures here. We're going to have to keep a close eye because as temperatures get colder overnight, if that system moves in, a few flurries or two can't be completely ruled out. Heading into Saturday, though, much colder temperatures, 33 degrees there Saturday, 10 degrees overnight. Check out Sunday, 29 degrees. And back on Monday, temperatures are back on the rise there, and then we see back into the 50s later next week.
I'm looking forward to those 50s. After this weekend, I think a lot of us will be.
You can put your hands up for right now, though. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride.
And this is the weekend where we're going to remind people to start dripping their pipes. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, a group in fill the space left behind after a fire destroyed a 100-year-old theater. That fire happened in 2022. The theater was privately owned, but after 2 years of the rundown building just sitting there, the city was ordered to clean it up and spent more than $100,000 on the effort. And by 2025, city leaders decided to buy the building for themselves to see if they could get a return on investment and do a civic good. And that's where the idea of a pocket park comes in. The city has estimated a preliminary cost of $250,000, but it could cost up to $600,000 for the entire project. It would include seating, green space, small event space, Cassville-themed murals, and a movie screening area to keep the spirit of the theater alive.
Hall Theater, everyone has that memory of going to the concession stand and watching an old movie. So what we want to do is we want to incorporate a little bit of that. Have the opportunity for music venues, different seasons that can go. We work well with the chamber, so we believe that this will be another area that people can gather, socialize, and really understand why Cassville is your hometown.
Well, Cassville has this project on the schedule for at least the entire 2026 fiscal year, but an exact timeline is still to be determined. Still ahead, Kansas sports history was made Friday night in Chanute. Ben McLeish has the story of an unprecedented 7-women officiating crew. That's coming up in sports.
Show February 7th. Tickets at neoshorts.net.
In high school sports, the players usually steal the show and the spotlight, but on Friday night in Chanute, history belonged to the crew in stripes. KOAM sports reporter Ben McLeish has a story from Friday's all-female officiating team.
It felt like any other night inside Chanute High School. The squeak of shoes on hardwood. An anxious crowd waiting for tip-off. The buzzer cutting through the gym. But just off the court, things weren't quite so routine. For the first time in Kansas history, a full slate of games was officiated entirely by women.
I didn't know that I was going to be making history tonight. I was just coming down with 2 other female referees to ref a varsity game, and then found out that everyone else here was also a female.
The fact that there are 7 females working all levels is the first time that that's happened. Pretty awesome to be part of it.
For many, refereeing is a way to stay part of the game.
Just being able to participate and still be part of the game, that's been huge. And then also the friends that I've made with other officials, it's been an awesome fraternity to belong to.
For others, it's a way to open doors for younger athletes.
I've enjoyed being a participant in the sport, and so just being on the other side of the ball has given me a different perspective. Just being able to give back and be able to be a good role model for younger athletes, and then females to be able to get into a position like refereeing.
With each possession, each call, they kept the games moving. Whistles blew, clocks ran, and the crowd watched. 7 officials, 1 gym, a first for Kansas high school basketball.
The race to the postseason continues on the hardwood here in the 4 states, and this week's hoops action kicks off tonight with Carl Junction hosting Joplin. The Bulldogs entering this matchup with back-to-back wins, while the Eagles have won 4 in a row. It was all Carl Junction in the opening quarter. Nevaeh Triplett gets stripped but recovers and finds J.C. Hocutt for the easy lay-in. Bulldogs up by 11 after 1. But here comes Joplin, start of the second quarter, feeding Peyton Cunningham down low, and the sophomore scores the deuce underneath. Defensively now for Joplin, Soleil Parker making a play with this steal, going on the run and finding Alyssa Owens for the layup. A 9-0 run to open the quarter, and it's a 2-point game. Now it's the Bulldogs' turn to respond, though. Hocutt finds Triplett off the inbounds, and she cashes the triple, sparking a run of their own. A couple possessions later, it's Dempsey Harris in transition, going coast to coast and fighting off a defender for the layup. A 13-0 stretch as the Bulldogs win their 3rd straight, 59-30, the final. Had a fun game out there. I wasn't there for the second half, but first half was a lot of fun. All Carl Junction, all Joplin, all Carl Junction. It was back and forth. It was pretty entertaining.
High school ball is really fun to watch.
It is, and I think the best part about it is there's so many runs. You see it in college basketball, not as much there as compared to high school. Mm-hmm. Any team could go on a 10-0 run, and the games flip just like that. It's so much fun.
As a sports photographer, which one is harder to shoot, high school or collegiate level?
I would say collegiate, only because they're moving a lot quicker, and there's a lot more quicker ball movement. That would probably be the only thing, but it's pretty similar.
That makes sense. And I know there's a lot of ball games out there tomorrow, too.
A ton of them, and we're going to be covering a few, but it's getting very busy. Postseason is going to be here before we know it.
That's right. All right, thanks, Ryan. We're back with more news after this. Joplin's Higher Power Garage purchases its own building to expand free auto classes for the community. KOAM's Nellie Lopez visits the new location where drivers learn money-saving maintenance skills.
This is really important. We're a low-cost auto repair shop. We work with people that are struggling financially all the time, and it's not just about fixing their car and getting them back on the road. But we want to try to find out what the barriers are that's keeping them in that situation, and then kind of help them through those barriers.
Learning basic auto maintenance can help extend the life of your car. They can also benefit you financially down the road.
One of the first things we've seen is the cars we were working on were not seeing any regular maintenance. And regular maintenance will extend the life of the car, it'll get better fuel economy, last longer, it's actually cheaper to operate.
As a way to help empower the community, Mike Gideon and the Higher Power Garage in Joplin offers free classes allowing more to join, now in a new location on West 4th Street.
We were sharing a building with another organization, and we completely outgrew that building in just a few months. So these classes are gaining steam, they're growing, and so we had the opportunity to purchase this building, and it just all came together. We're really excited to see what the future holds here. We're adding classes as we speak.
Classes that involve hands-on learning.
We can show them that maybe the parts are worn out, but they can know what's worn, what's not worn, what's good, what's bad. And then also we'll have a vehicle that we can go out in the shop and show them where to check the oil, check the coolant.
Things that will help keep their car and their life on track. In Joplin, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
The new Empowerment Campus is located at 1924 West 4th Street. Classes are free, but reservations are required. Up next, find out which films scored big at last night's Golden Globes ceremony. The red carpet rolled out for the Golden Globe Awards Sunday night, and we were there to bring you all the highlights and winners from Hollywood's Party of the Year. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a recap.
From walking the red carpet to going home with the Globe, we're celebrating with the honorees of film and TV at this year's Golden Globe Awards.
And the winner is One Battle After Another.
It was one trophy after another for One Battle After Another, with 4 total, including Best Picture Musical or Comedy. Paul Thomas Anderson nabbed Best Director and Best Screenplay.
To my brown sisters and little brown girls watching tonight, and our dreams deserve space. Thank you.
Tiana Taylor won Best Supporting Actress.
Hamnet.
To be or not to be? Well, they are big winners. Hamnet took Best Picture Drama, and Jessie Buckley won Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture. In more golden honors for the silver screen, Wagner Moura won Best Male Actor. His movie The Secret Agent took Best Non-English Language Film.
Hopefully you'll see it in a cinema, because they're an extinguished species.
Sentimental Values, Stellan Skarsgård was named Best Supporting Male Actor. Plus, it was a golden night for K-pop Demon Hunters, taking Best Motion Picture Animated Film and Best Song in a Motion Picture.
Just like Wicked, I'm back for a sequel.
Host Nikki Glazer dished out her signature roasting style as the awards were handed out in film and TV.
This is extraordinary.
As for the TV side, Adolescence was the big winner there, taking 4 categories, including Best Limited or Anthology Series.
The Pit!
The Pit earned Best Drama. Sal Saperstein and team of The Studio follow up their Emmys win with the Best Musical or Comedy Series Golden Globe.
So excited to get started shooting the next season in 1 week from today.
This award season party keeps going from here. Up next, Oscar nominations January 22nd at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of 2 panda bears at the Vienna Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.